Welcome back, everybody. Fresh out of No Surrender, literally just walking in. And we are here for the No Surrender review, live from New Orleans, as well as the East Coast. But we're sticking to our East Coast schedule because that's what we do here.
Speed run.
Yes. Sadly, if you watch the normal Thursday review, you know J-Bone was under the weather. He still is, so sadly he cannot make it tonight. He definitely tried to push through, but it was not working out for him. So it'll be Alisha and I tonight, and obviously you, the TNI fan. So feel free to pop in comments. Let us know what you thought of the show. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, doing all that for you get these live reviews right as they happen.
Lucky you guys.
Yes. So this is back-to-back nights of TNI. Aren't we also lucky to get a little TNA in our lives with a little TNI? But obviously, welcome, Justin. I see in the chat. Good to see. I see Bonus Baby in there. Obviously, as you feel free to pop in. Anybody that was there live, I know some regulars were there, as well as some people I was saying hi to that I've seen previously here. There's Billy, who actually was sitting right next to me tonight.
Oh, shit.
One of the best specials in a long time. And
yeah.
Let us know what you thought. No Surrender. Where's it kind of run? Because I know people are going to look at this as the first post Scott D'Amore show, but obviously still a lot of things already in progression already. But Alisha, what's your initial thoughts before we kind of go over everything of the show?
Okay. I feel like if you didn't order or like if you didn't watch the show, you missed out. I think that kind of sums it up.
I can't miss TNA show.
From pre-show to the very last match, it was a spectacular show, period.
Not wrong.
No.
Like they were there. I had a feeling, like we were talking last night, certain talents, but we're going to go like that extra effort. This was going to be a show to really try to prove yourself after all the baggage of the last couple of weeks, and it felt that way. Felt that way from the start. That everybody from on the countdown show throughout the pay-per-view or the premium live event, we got to start getting that right. Everyone brought it. Can't really find anybody that didn't. Kill Steel in the house. Oh yeah, everybody won the X Division title, and that was the news before the show even started. Alisha, that we found out a few hours before showtime that the X Division title match was going to be
the main event, which
we knew that would lead. There was probably a reason for that. And yes. I know talking, like I knew we said it. I thought Ali, no matter what, even though he's been coming off heel in his vignettes, was going to get a face reaction. And he definitely did. But his reaction, it was Nemeth level. Like obviously the crowd wasn't the size that it was, although it was a nice sized crowd. I think like maybe 750 or so, 750.
Yeah, it's decent.
But obviously they had a ton in Las Vegas, but for that venue and the acoustics there, very high ceilings, like the sound travels well. Hopefully it traveled on TV just as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm going to be talking from a perspective of being there. I haven't seen any footage. So commentary, if there was anything that wasn't shown on the Tron, I may be asking Alisha as well as you in the audience for help on that.
I'll do my best.
I may have missed something. But the sound was great there because obviously, and anyone that's been to a show may know this, and even other shows, it doesn't even have to be TNA. They do tape some stuff before the show goes live, even with the countdown. Usually with digital content, we'll see what winds up happening. Crowd was sparse because the ticket never says to come in that early. But so there was a little bit of a worry, but it definitely filled in, which was very cool to see. Let's see here. Yep, they definitely were adding chairs. Good to see John Palmer. I know we both saw him at the Impact 1000. Good to see him. Crowd sounded good. Always good to see. So, very good news. And the lighting, I know that was an issue sometimes at some of these previous venues. So, good to hear. So, everything around production sounds pretty good, and that's positive. Before we get too much into the show, I can confirm with my two eyes. I did see pretty early the new president of TNA, what Anthony Ciccone, or I may be messing up the last name, but he was in the house. I did see the owner of Anthem, Len Asper, in the house.
Oh, wow.
These were from afar, from my seat.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, oh, big money bill over here.
Yeah, so hopefully there's a time where like me and Ed Nordholm would be shaking hands. Hopefully it could be the same. I may have yelled out once or twice, "Len!" And then I think on the way out, I saw Anthony like kind of moving away. And then like he was like with one of his guys. And I'm like, the new press is in town. And the person walking with him noticed it, but I think Anthony did right. And
busy night for him.
Definitely busy night, because I know there were some rumblings on who would be there and who wouldn't. I know there is some stuff that was done that I'm sure is leaked out there. I don't know how it will be used. It doesn't seem like it was used during the show, so I probably won't talk about it. But because I don't want to be any spoiler zone, because it probably will be something that's on TV, I'm guessing, on Thursday. So we'll stay away from that. But I'm sure it'll be out there if anyone's looking. So be careful. So otherwise, news, we covered it all last night. If anything comes up while we do the review, obviously there was some things that happened tonight that will affect Sacrifice, which is only 2 weeks away in Windsor. So we'll discuss those for sure, because we already know the world title match. You can obviously follow some tea leaves. I'll double check to see if Impact TNA now has announced anything else. But you can kind of get an idea on where some of the matches look like they're leading to at Sacrifice. But we'll kind of get right into it here. Let me just pull up the card for we can follow in a concise order here. And as we're doing that, let us know, what was your favorite match of the night? Any big surprises you thought? Anything that shocked you? Or anything you'd like to see going forward? Okay. So obviously we get the countdown show. Now, one thing I noticed, and you might be able to answer this, Alisha. On the countdown show, it was originally announced that Gia Miller, I thought, would be on commentary with Tom and Matt, but she obviously was not.
Right.
Maybe they were just kind of doing that as like she's the backstage interviewer during the show, and just because she got put on the graphic. So I wasn't sure if anything changed, but obviously she was there. Good to see Gia.
Right.
So if that's just giving more pub to Gia doing backstage stuff. But I thought that could be a transition to her maybe starting to do the countdown show as a third person. But that obviously did not happen. So something to stay tuned of. We'll see if that happens going forward or not.
Could be a work in progress.
It could be. Like with everything going on, maybe last minute things changed. Okay. All right. Everything's ready to go. All right. So we start off with, and honestly, these shows become a blur to me. But we start off with, I believe, was it Speedball Mountain and the Rascalz first?
Yes.
Okay. So we had obviously the Speedball Mountain team of Trent Seven and Speedball Mike Bailey going against the Rascalz. So obviously the Rascalz looking to kind of find themselves after their recent tag title run, and obviously the Speedball Mountain, not just Mustache Mountain after last night.
I was calling him Mustache Ball.
What?
I don't know why. No, I don't. It just.
Is that what was coming through?
Yeah, I can't explain it.
Okay, all right, that's okay.
Mustache Ball.
But interesting that they did 2 tag matches on the.
Yes, I will agree with that.
But it definitely got the crowd going. I thought they were into it. Obviously, when you get the Rascalz, you're competing for some shenanigans. Because they keep on rascaling. That's what they do. But let's see here. But thoughts on that? Well, your thoughts on this match? What would you think? Because obviously you've seen some of them speedball mounting together, but not a lot. And obviously we know the Rascalz have been kind of doing their thing.
A long-term team there. I thought it was a great, energetic match to start the show, the pre-show off with. And of course, lots of shenanigans on behest of the Rascalz, especially towards the end when old Mackie boy.
Yeah, when he didn't escort them to the ring, even though they've kind of been a crew lately,
you knew shit was up.
Going down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was going to go down.
It was going to go down, and down it went. Unfortunately, Trent and Speedball didn't get the win tonight, which I kind of thought they would, get one over. But you're right. Once you realize Macklin wasn't with the posse there, things were going to get scoundrelly
because of other duties currently going on, and that is some news. Nick Nemeth, obviously, he was in New Japan and won the global heavyweight IWGP title over there. So congratulations!
Whoa. Yeah, big news.
But he obviously was not there to side with the boys. So Mustache Mountain, Mustache Speedball Mustache Mountain, could not get through this one. So obviously some shenanigans, but the Rascalz get the win. So they look still strongly in play in the title picture for tag team titles. We'll see when. Could it happen as soon as Sacrifice? Have to wait and find out.
We'll see, man. It was a night of tags, if you think about it. Not just the pre-show.
There were tags tonight, no doubt. So let's see.
So for anybody complaining that you don't get enough tag teams, well, tonight was the night, wasn't it?
You got a lot of tag teams. And obviously followed it up with the System, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards versus Kushida and Kevin Knight.
Yes.
Now my initial thoughts, even before the match starts, when we were just talking about Kevin Knight and how we kind of see he could really go places. He's a guy with a ton of potential. He had new gear tonight.
Yeah.
He had the jacket. He was going Doc Brown on us.
That's what's
up. He
up.
had the hair out a little bit. We were getting a nice little team together, which was maybe they could actually pull this off.
I think so. Oh, yeah, right. I was voting for them.
I was rooting for them. I don't know what made it on the broadcast or not, because I did use a friend of mine from New York, Evan, has given me a few flags, all pretty much for that grouping, time splitters and all that. So I did have the flag out, and I was able to show that. And I know Kushida pointed it out to Kevin Knight, and he liked it. But then Brian Myers tried to take my flag from me.
Trash.
He didn't get it.
Trash.
You think you can get a flag off of me?
No way.
If I want you to have it, I'll give it to you. But come on. And I support my man Moose.
Yeah.
Eddie. And I try to support Brian, but we have history of me booing him a lot. He's not willing to forgive and forget.
Hasn't.
It is what it is.
Rewarmed to you.
But Dr. Gerbs, I want to get him before he dips out here. Got work in the AM,
it's late.
Head to bed and catch the replay. Makes 8.5 hours of overtime. Woo, have a good night. Well, Dr. Gerbs, thank you.
You as well.
Tip. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Hopefully you're able to check in the show, rest up, and we'll definitely see you. Well, I may not see you next Thursday because I will be indisposed in New York at another wrestling show. But Tuesday, we're planning to still do the special with Penzer. So you can definitely check us out on Tuesday. Nice seeing some more people in the chat. Oh, and there's something we'll get into a little later. The new entrances. There were some new entrances tonight. Another member, Terrence Sullivan in the house. Great to see you. Once again, feel free on YouTube if you're watching. You can be a member of the TNI, the Total Nonstop Impact channel. So feel free to do it. We always appreciate it. And there will be some more exclusive content coming for you guys as well in the future. Once we get through this little respite of getting everyone back healthy, ready to go. So getting back to the match here. This is the second tag team match on the Countdown show. Alisha, obviously, you have the system. They're going to play a big part in this night, but then they're going against pretty much the guys that are going to be on the outside for Alex Shelley. So there was definitely a lead into this match that had to do with the no surrender rules. And what would you think of this second tag?
I'm going to ask you first because you were there. I covered the first one. We'll trade it off. Okay. I want to hear your first person perspective.
I liked it. I was a fan of it. I thought once again, I think Kevin Knight continues to impress for sure. And Kushida, always good. But I thought them as a team, they looked real good together. Going in, I was like, the system has probably got this, no problem. But they gave them a run for their money. Obviously, there was always tactics being used to make sure they try to get the win here. But I think that was the right call. I think you can – I think they're going to have their time. I feel like Kushida and Kevin Knight, even with the loss, and we'll talk about what happened in the world title match, I still think they're going to get a nice push going forward. But the system had to look strong here. So it made sense for them to get the win.
And it did. And I've been saying for a while that because they when they first formed, they lost like a match like soon after. It was like one of their first matches as a full group. I was one of them because it's like you can't form a stable and then immediately have them lose. You know what I mean? And so for them to have a strong play leading into tonight, considering what happens later on, which we'll get to, I get it. It's hard. It's hard when you like both the teams. I want everybody to win. Trophies for everyone.
It does become tough, and we'll talk about that because there's definitely quite a few matches on this card that had the fans kind of the same way, where you kind of have someone that's a face, but then someone that's more of a face, and they almost become slightly a heel because the other person is such a
There can be only one.
Yeah. But see here, Eli, once again, another member. Thanks.
Okay, backing up.
Talking about 750 fans is what they're saying. The attendance was. They originally set up for 600 and had to keep adding seats. And yeah, I can confirm all the Anthem executives were backstage, roaming around and stuff. So yeah, definitely in the house. Good thing for sure. John, I'll bring up that point when we get to that match for sure. Now, Swag fan, I knew somebody was going to ask that because I know it's kind of. I won't get into the meat and potatoes, but did you guys talk about EY addressing the crowd before the show? I'll just leave it at that. If that's something that people want to search for, I'm sure some people probably put it on there. I'm not sure how TNA is going to use that yet. It could be Thursday's intro, I'm thinking. But it was filmed before the show tonight. So hopefully that's the case. But if that's something you want to dive into, it is out there. But to avoid spoilers, I'll kind of leave it at that for now. But once it gets aired, we'll definitely discuss it here on TNI. So that's the Countdown show.
Yeah.
Already a lot going on.
Banging. Bang ring.
Okay. 1 sec here. Because I got lost on my screen. But okay. Here.
I'll allow it.
Yes.
You're allowed.
All right. And then while we're doing that, what is the? Is it just straight coffee, or is there any special creamer tonight? After all the creamer
No rum chata in my coffee.
Oh, all right. You
no. I didn't need to get wild tonight. Because then the speed run would turn into like slow-mo. I'm up past my bedtime.
You never know. You never know. Okay. Next. All right. So we start off the number one, this match that was just added yesterday. The world title, number one contenders match, Eric Young versus Frankie Kazarian. The get-go, Serotonin Boy is getting some heat here, Alisha, because he had our new ring announcer, Jade, announce him as the king of TNA.
Ooh. It's not very serotonin. It's not very serotonin.
That's not serotonin. That's what I was saying. I'm like, going to say serotonin.
He didn't have his guy liner. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah, but obviously 2 originals. Great way to start the show. I wasn't expecting this match to start the show, but I think it was the right call.
Yes.
Go to the roots. Go to the guys that helped build the company. What'd you think of this one?
I really enjoyed it. Of course, I'm currently. Oh, gee. Okay, sorry.
Put it out. Put it out.
Shit. I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say I'm currently really obsessed with Eric Young's theme music to the point that I even like dug through Spotify to start like listening to it on repeat. And Kaz, of course, is a favorite. I've been a favorite of he's been a favorite of mine for many, many years now. Great match, strong match. What's that?
You can boo him now.
I can
say that.
I can. I would definitely be the asshole in the audience being like, that's not very serotonin of you. What's the opposite of serotonin? If anybody in the chat can put it in there, that's what I'm going to start yelling if I ever get to a match. Anyway, strong match, strong start. Great way to start the show with 2, like you're saying, 2 originals. But how crazy did Kaz get? I mean, Bill, they gave us a close-up of you doing a thumbs down right to him. The disappointment in the crowd, man.
Yeah, because that was referee Mark Bitter there, who's had some matches here and there. But it was a tough day at the office for Ref Bitters. He can't have this.
No,
I don't care if it's
that's a fine.
Somebody in charge. Like I'm guessing we're not going to see Kaz for a little bit. The King's going to be out of here for a little bit.
Yeah, how does that work?
He's got to be suspended.
Yeah, or fined.
At least through sacrifice. You can't be hitting officials.
No. Naughty.
Unserotonin.
Unserotonin.
Lacking of serotonin is that man.
Lacking. Low.
Eddie, I can confirm that. Allison was not at these tapings. Referee Paige, who was down in the Florida tapings, was here. So I don't know. I believe the last time was COVID related. I don't know if there's still some health reasons or if there's anything else, but that seemed to be the case because when Mark Bitters came out originally, it's like, oh, is he the third ref? That didn't last long. But then we did see our third ref of the night. And Justin kind of hitting it here.
Kaz was
one of them with new music. And there was a lot of new music tonight.
It takes me like a month to notice because especially it was like a week ago that I'm like, oh, Eric Young's new music. What's up with that?
And you know what? It is something, like especially like Eric Young's, like his doesn't like just come out and hit you, his music. His builds, which is
iconic.
But it's something different, which is good to see. But obviously, not the usual win tonight for Eric Young. It was like a crucifix pin that he got the win on.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the elbow drop. He did do that once, did not get the win. It wasn't the pile driver, which I believe, I know there was in the past, it was banned in Louisiana.
Scandalous. I wonder.
Scandalous.
Well, isn't the pile driver one of those moves that not only is it banned in feds, but like you're saying, it's banned in certain states? The wrestling rules are weird state to state. It's like how you can't do deathmatch in
oh yeah,
New York.
Very different. Yeah, you can't have blood.
You can't have blood in New York.
No blood.
Well, I'll get plenty of blood in Newark on Sunday.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Thanks. Deathmatch show.
I do have a affinity for that occasionally. That's my ECW upbringing. So now we know it'll be Eric Young versus the champion at Sacrifice in Windsor. We find out later who that is, but we'll get to that. Because we are next up to the tag team title match, and I know we had the question just a moment ago from John about their entrance, because they had a new entrance music, and this one surprised me because this is right off the bat. You knew it was different because the Bullet Club theme music, Bullet Club, and that was gone. And the Tron pretty much erased Bullet Club. So even though the gear still had some Bullet Club on it, it was like when they first started coming out, we were kind of hesitant. It's like, are they not Bullet Club anymore? Is this going to be different? But then the two suites started flying and all. So I think they're just probably thinking more long term, because right now, like, they're Bullet Club, but they're still Bullet Club. I think they just want to be more ABC. They've been sneaking that in from Bullet Club of Bay and A's to ABC. Now, by getting rid of the theme music, even though that gives you some pop, the Bullet Club theme music, probably getting their own theme music is a good long term. I don't know if it had anything to do with like rights to the music or anything with New Japan. Since there's a good relationship, I can't imagine that was the issue. They probably just wanted to ID them more as TNA guys. Yeah,
rebrand and everything. It kind of makes sense. I also wasn't sure if the Bullet Club even existed anymore. It's all just weird, random groups.
Yeah, weird and random.
Weird and random.
Oh, and Justin saying it here, since I think I did not hear, they actually acknowledged it on commentary and available on Spotify. So you can go get that new theme. Check it out. I'll have to get used to it. My first time hearing it. Shout out to Frank here in the chat. Bold of you at last year's No Surrender in Vegas, because obviously there was no surrender in Vegas last year. Always really liked the Grizzled Young Veterans. Feel like they can really shine now on TNA and the independence scene. No doubt. I wasn't real familiar. I kind of had a little idea about them, but I'm not going to act like I was there watching NXT UK like some others. I did see them on the Indies. I think their first indie appearance with Deadlock Pro up in New Jersey at the Mecca. So I did see like they surprise debuted there. So I had seen them before they came to TNA briefly, but they obviously have been excellent. This match, there was some shenanigans, but they were kind of on both sides. It definitely looked, honestly, maybe the move of the night was done by the Grizzled Young Vets in this one. They did the Doomsday Device.
Yeah.
Outside the ring, through the ropes.
It was fucking crazy.
That was nuts. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've seen alterations of it, but I've never seen someone do the clothesline through the ropes.
Yeah. It was gnarly.
Now, I won't take away from it, but if you might have noticed on TV, but the ring was a little lower. Sometimes the ring's a little higher, sometimes it's a little lower. So it definitely, that could have played into it. Maybe it's like you can take a shot at it because of the.
Couldn't even notice, to be fair, from a TV perspective. You didn't even notice.
On TV, it's not as noticeable. When you're sitting close, you notice it because it's a different vantage point than you're used to.
Yeah.
It's like more being on a stage, like it could be more at a different level than looking up.
It's true. That's true.
But yeah, what a match here. Obviously, we had the Bullet Club come out on top, but they both were using the scarf and everything. But now the questions I think is going to be: are the Grizzled Young Vets sticking around? I hope so, because they had a ton.
I hope so. They really left an impression on me after tonight. Again, just another amazing match.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Like those guys are pros. They're very good. Actually, I have a little for the Titanium meet and greet. They were there, so I got a picture with the Grizzled Young Vets.
Oh, look at you! Smiling so big. Everybody, that's a great picture. You should post it on your socials, Bill.
Oh, maybe on the.
You got like 3 years to catch up on.
Yeah, I think
that's a really good picture, though.
I have to look. Was my last picture like Florida 3 years ago? Like I did a little posting on, like I post on like Twitter, but I don't really post on like Instagram.
I don't go on Twitter. I never see it.
See, that's the thing. So it looks like I don't do anything. And Facebook, I really don't. Just to chat with the squad here, the TNI team. But the thing is pictures. I don't like taking pictures of myself. I'll get them at shows as part of stuff, but I don't go out and get like additional meet and greets. But for a while during the pandemic, I was taking pictures of things here and there. So most of the pictures I think on my Instagram is me in a mask, but we'll see. Maybe there was a while where that was a running joke on the show where I was going to update my Instagram. Never happened. So get on me. Maybe I will. But nice tag match. ABC victorious. We go backstage. Steve Macklin hyping up the Rascalz when you get Speedball Mountain trying to ambush them. Referees break it up. So kind of making you think, are they going to have a number one contenders match maybe? Or is there going to be maybe a three-way with the ABC sacrifice? We'll kind of have to see how that plays out over the next 2 weeks. Next. Now here was one I know you were looking forward to, Alisha. 2 meaty men slapping meat in all the fun ways. PCO versus Con.
I wanted it to be more violent. I wanted a train wreck. And I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed that it didn't happen that way.
He broke his neck twice.
Literally?
Like he did the neck break at ringside early that he came back from.
And then the chair, right?
Zip tied him. Then he with the chairs. He zip tied him, put the chair over his neck, and did the neck break again.
It didn't translate.
Like now, there wasn't blood. There wasn't violence of that nature.
Weapons.
But it was still pretty rough on old PCO here.
Listen, I will give I will say this is that PCO has finally met his match in Con. And
PCO got the win, but Con was the one walking upright at the end.
Yeah, he kept standing up. It was like Michael Myers, dude. It was kind of unsettling.
Remind me a little bit of, you got to go back to Skyway, where it was who was it? It was Big LG and Joe Doring. When Doc Gallows and Joe Doring were kind of feuding, when the tag teams were feuding, and they were having some one-on-one matches, and like they were going through the stage, great stuff. I'm Mr. Joe Doring. Thinking about you, Joe.
I miss him and his big old bear coat.
Oh, that coat!
Classic.
I remember when he wore that coat that time.
That's a man right there.
That's a real man. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this. Obviously, this is continuing. My guess is we're going to see, because obviously they call it a DQ on this match. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure a stipulation match at Sacrifice. Critical Sting, of course, he would know this. That match where Gallows cut his eggplant, right? You are correct, sir. That is what happened to Gallows during that match.
Shit, what?
So you know it's rough when that happens.
I mean, jeez.
And that's not even like Bully Ray yelling it in a match, because he's been known to do that too. So obviously all kinds of craziness going on post-match with all that. But then in the locker room, Alex Shelley's telling Kushida and Knight not to throw in the towel. And then he tells Chris Sabin he doesn't want him at ringside because he's got to focus on his X Division title match.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the line that Chris Sabin gives to Kevin and Kushida?
Oh God! All I can remember is
I was
the
yelling it
part.
all during the match. Diamond hands.
Diamond hands. Diamond hands. Okay.
So diamond hands. These
Diamond hands. Chris Sabin.
You be throwing that damn towel. So we'll see what happens. Now, Alisha, I gotta turn to you on this one.
Yes.
Because I almost didn't think it, but I shouldn't not think it, because I think that is what these titles are right now. They were the first time around, they are again. And it's kind of because you don't have a lot of teams, it's a hot potato. And you have Decay defending against MK Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
We already kind of know, and we saw at the end, who was waiting. We talked about it last night as the next challengers.
Right.
But we did have a title change here.
Yeah, I wasn't anticipating this so soon, but God, this was hard because I like both teams so much.
It is tough.
Yeah.
Although I go too far back with Decay, where I always have to support Decay.
Yeah. I love them all so much. It was rough. It was rough for a gal like me who just wants to give everyone trophies.
You're there for the participation.
I
Like, you should go to a sign. They can say, hey, Alisha, go to a show, say hi to everybody, and have a sign that just says participation.
Participation. Everybody wins in my heart.
Have a hat that says sports, wrestling, just wrestling.
High fives. I was wild, and then of course, well deserved MK Ultra for getting the belt off of Decay, but I didn't like the sportsmanship after the win. They were celebrating like normal. Well, they haven't been faces, so
they were kind of teetering on the tweener aspect, I would say, but they went full heel here.
Yeah, which is appropriate. I got really offended. I said, "Get your hands off my lady!" After they pummeled poor Havok with their belts. Right. I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate it. Right. I love her so much. You can't do that. But it was good.
Like Decay could come back and take these belts back again.
Well, yes. That's the beautiful thing about it, is that Decay is forever. They could, but I thought it was appropriate because they have been setting up Danny and Jody, who came out for the save for Decay against MK Ultra. It's good to start establish them as the next runner-ups for potential winning of the belt.
You got some storylines going on right now in the tag division, and definitely MK Ultra was much more serious, I would say.
Yeah,
like there wasn't goofing off, like they were serious. When that bell was rigged, they were focused. But not as much. Like Kelly would goof around a little bit with the crowd and stuff.
Which that's just her because she's the puppy.
Correct. So, new champs in the house, but that won't be the only title changing hands, which we'll get to. So yeah, obviously got the save, and it feels like that's going to be the match. I don't think they've made it official yet. I'm guessing they will shortly, but that seems like we're going to have a defense from MK Ultra versus Danny Ludo.
I'm having technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
Life's hard.
Okay?
I gotta cut all my hair off. I'm just so annoyed with it. G.I. Jane
mask versus hair match.
I'll just do it. Give me the buzzers. I'll do it myself.
There you go. But here's an interesting one. Well, first we go backstage. They have the system now backstage talking, and Moose is telling the crew, under no circumstances are you
don't you dare.
Damn towel.
Fuck
so,
you don't.
Love it.
Fuck you.
And Swag fan here. Thank you, Swag fan.
Hey.
Rosemary and Kelly. OMG, too sexy. Yes. I will not weigh in on that, but I'm not going to disagree either. So thank you. Thank you very much. But then we go.
Real quick. Y'all see Masha Slamovich's Instagram picture from today?
You know what? I may have tripped over this, but I think I saw it on Twitter with the JCW title, a little reverse Shawn Michaels.
A little surprise for OnlyFans subscribers. Whoa.
Look out.
Hi, caramba.
Hey, caramba. Well, speaking of Ay Caramba, we have the man that was in the news this past week, probably more than anybody. That is the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, going against Simon Gotch. Now, this was interesting.
How cool did Simon Gotch look?
It could have been just a coincidence, but this is the match where I noticed the new president of TNA showing up.
Oh, okay.
I saw him walk in, Anthony Ciccone. Because I'm pointing out to Billy next to me. I'm like, I think that's Anthony Ciccone right there. And then, yeah, it's one of those things, just like Len Asper later. It's like, it's tough to describe them, but once you see them, you're like, yeah, that's him. That's him right there.
I see. This is the thing. God bless you, because I would never be able to point out any of these people.
Well, you're right, because obviously, Dr. Ariel, obviously saw, but he was on TV before. These guys, like Len's been at a handful of shows in the state. He could have been backstage at some other stuff, but you didn't really see him. And I don't really, maybe Anthony Ciccone was at something at some point, but I don't really think he was. So that's kind of new for him being there. So
okay,
interesting timing that it seemed to be noticed during this match. So he was checking it out. But this one, definitely a technical display for sure. But hold on. Before I do that, I got to notice Swag Fan put another tip in there. Yes, Alisha, I saw it. So Swag Fan is not missing Masha picks. So he's paying attention.
Bless your heart. We're all winners in that scenario, I guess.
But what'd you think about this one here? I was talking to when Matthew Raywald came to ringside for commentary. I told him I'd be watching him during this match, because of their vaudeville connection. And there was a point where Simon Gotch went to the commentary and kind of did his vaudeville and shtick with him real quick.
That's
so I wasn't
cool.
sure if there would be any connection there that could play a part in this match, but it didn't. But it's pretty good back and forth match. It was a good hard fought. Like Simon Gotch, I think was impressive. I think a lot of people when he first showed up in the crowd may have kind of gave it an afterthought, weren't really taking it seriously. But I think that interview he did with on Alan Angel's new show, I thought that was great to set that whole angle up. That he got the contract off of. And I think people maybe haven't seen him for a couple of years. I know he was in MLW for a bit, the Indies, but he looks like a good fit. I would not be against Simon Gotch sticking around.
No, definitely. He came in with a different energy than what I'm used to. Considering last time I saw Simon Gotch he was a vaudevillain, you know what I mean? I really appreciated the new aesthetic he came out with the mask, and the gear looked really fresh. Very cool, total change in persona with that guy, and it's really impressive. And I think he really took Josh to task. Unfortunately, couldn't get the win over him, but it's Josh.
It's Josh, yeah.
Josh be Josh.
I thought a nice effort in defeat. He could get one of the Alisha participation trophies. And
you know what? Tonight, I will say, just for tonight, everyone's getting a trophy because holy
shit.
Get
a trophy. You get a trophy.
Well, dude, it's like I said at the beginning, this show was the show to watch. If you wanted to watch a pay-per-view tonight, this was the show.
And this is the TNA gets a trophy tonight for the job they did.
Mm-hmm.
Whole locker room gets the gold star.
Yeah, absolutely.
But very, very good match. Definitely check that out. Underrated match for sure. Backstage, we get AJ Francis talking to Rich Swann about their upcoming match on Thursday. So stay tuned. They're definitely teasing that match because there's definitely been a build from Explosion to the main show now with AJ Francis, Rich Swann, Joe Hendry dynamic out there. But here it is, what many thought would be the main event tonight, which was not. It's now time, TNA World Title match. No surrender rules. Moose versus Alex Shelley. So just to once again kind of go back over the no surrender rules. So interesting aspect here because it's kind of, and Jade said it at the beginning, no disqualification. However, no disqualification between the two participants. Like the ref was definitely making sure for the most part that the ringside individuals were not directly getting involved, even though they started playing more of a part as the match went on by like handing weapons and things like that. But obviously a different match here. Referee Frank in charge did, I thought, a great job here because it's very different. This is where, as a ref, you can easily get confused and accidentally do a count or break a hold or say someone had the rope and he was on it. He's like, no. Like he went right to the guy holding the towel, which for the most part was Brian Myers on team The System and Kushida on team Alex Shelley. So you had the whole towel aspect in this match. And it seemed early on, Brian Myers was feeling like he was ready quick to throw that towel in. I was not trusting Mr. Myers early on. It seemed like he might be quick to throw that towel in. But in the end, he held off. It took 3 finishes.
Yeah.
The spears by Moose. And not only that, the last 2, the one that Kushida thought he was stopping when he threw the towel, with the chains on his torso for that extra effect. This was a
beat the britches off of each other, man.
Slobber knocker.
Yeah, I'll say. I don't even know what else I could add to that because, point on, it was a slobber knocker. These dudes beat the britches off of each other. Although one thing, so this kind of sucks for me, is I missed the who threw in the towel.
Oh, okay. It was Kushida.
Okay. Because I saw the end result, which is
Kushida
not happy.
Got into the ring. Like he was in the ring during the finish. And he saw him hit Shelley with the chain. Then he saw him lining up a second time with the chain. And he's like, I got to stop it. So diamond hands, no. But that just could have kept on going. Like at that point, when you hit 3, like Shelley ain't getting back up.
No.
But how will Shelley react to this? Because we've seen Shelley not react well to things like this before. Is he going to blame Kushida? Could there be some fallout here?
He was already mad in the ring. You could see
mad.
much. You could already see that much when they collected with him when he was like sitting on the mat. Yeah, he was. Alex Shelley's gonna go John Wick.
Well, and we'll get to the main event because his longtime tag partner at times morphed into a little bit of a heel as well, which I expected because of the match. But we'll get to that still.
Yes, sir.
But Moose, we know he's the champ still. So it will be Moose versus Eric Young at Sacrifice in Windsor. So EY going back for that world title. Let us know in the chat. Could Moose be in trouble? Could EY?
Yes. Wait, no.
It is Windsor.
I want EY to win. His mask is cool.
It is
Casey. Cool. I would like that.
Yeah, they told a story. Moose has gotten so good. Like I remember seeing Moose in Ring of Honor years ago, early on, and like you could see that early potential in Moose. Like he was doing that great drop kick, big. Like he had the look. Like you're like, yeah, he could be something for sure. But he put in the work. Like you just got to give it to people that put in the work like that. Obviously the gym, but in ring. Like for a guy like that, like if he was part of, let's just say, the WWE machine, he probably could get by with not doing as much work as he does. Just based on his look and what he can already do, but he's always trying to get better.
Yeah.
Which, as a guy signed long-term to this company,
that's important.
That's great to have that guy as a company.
Agreed.
So I'm definitely appreciating it. But obviously everyone knows I might have a little bit of a one-sided.
My I thought my screen went black.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Are you
no.
there, or you
I'm here. I solved it out. I don't have to reboot, but give me 1 second. 1 second. Right. You can keep talking.
Yes. So I will get us ready for the next match because I was hoping this would happen. Now it's going to be divisive for sure by the crowd. We get the Iceman, my favorite, yours, to introduce us to Ash by Elegance, who's going to be sitting ringside.
Fancy pants. I'm back. And the cat.
So, and cat. Valentino.
Valentino in the house.
So, speaking of Valentino, we got a Valentino of our own named George Iceman given the introduction for Ash by Elegance, who will be sitting ringside for this Knockouts World title match.
The bird's eye view for match, for me, one of the matches of the night.
This was a great match. Great match.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Like Jordynne has been on such a roll lately, and I thought Gisele would kind of pull out the stops, and she did. She kind of, I was mentioning that Multiverse United match where she did a couple crazy spots, and she did that again. I thought that's what she would do for this.
We called it.
Kudos to her as well. I thought they knocked it out of the park.
They beat the shit out of each other. It was amazing.
Yes. I think, I was obviously right across from Ash sitting at ringside with the Iceman.
Yeah.
And I was watching her reactions to a lot of it. And you could tell, like there were times like she was even like, wow, that's a hell of a move. She was impressed by what was
from a TV perspective. Jordynne was directing a lot of her moves towards Ash, letting her know, like, this is what you're getting your ass into coming in here.
At the end, she was not happy. I don't think she wanted to face Jordynne Grace. Now, it'll be interesting to see how quick this happens. To me, and I know that's where people are going to have a little bit of an issue, because if they think this is going to happen at Sacrifice already in 2 weeks, I don't think so. I don't think so. Jordynne can maybe a tag match. Like, I feel there won't be a title match between the two of them at Sacrifice. I feel they're going to hold that to Rebellion.
They're going to do some build up.
Yeah, they got to build it up.
I even get the vibe that after seeing what she saw tonight, Ash might devise an idea on how to kind of soften Jordynne up, whether it be mind games, something else, remains to be seen. But I think Ash is going to come up with a plan. I do want to say, Yeah. Oh God. Little Tanya Hardin there. I will say though, Gisele was like, I don't know, man. There was something about the fire that she was bringing in this match. Is like you were looking at a
locked in. There were certain people. It was honestly.
It was like a completely different person in that ring with Jordynne.
Locked in. Like if that's the Gisele we're getting going forward,
mm-hmm.
if she can be that locked in, she's going to be Knockouts champion at some point. Because
Agreed.
that's somebody that has like they're there. Like
they're there. Straight fire. Yeah. Not to take a note from
you were straight fire earlier.
Apparently
straight fire. David
he blamed it on gummies.
Now David Penzer can probably speak to this. Justin Miller in the chat saying Jade getting no respect. First Skylar, now Iceman, because Iceman had to introduce obviously Ash. So he kind of threw her off the mic. And we know David Penzer was also dealing with that John Skylar, that rat bastard.
Yes,
but hey, there you go. A guy that's seen a lot of her matches live. Gisele had the match of her career. I'm not disagreeing with that.
No, I'm not. Nope. If anybody ever doubted her, tonight was the night that she stood toe to toe with Jordynne Grace and very much held her own. And I was surprised. I was actually surprised that Jordynne walked away champ. That's how passionate she was, dude.
Where it could go either way. And I think that's what was great about the show tonight. Like, even if you thought, that one's definitely got to go this way. The matches were so close. Like, the opponents put up such a fight. I know we joke about the participation trophy, but it's tough. Like, I know you don't want to take, like, the moral victory in some of these matches, but there really is. Because people asserted themselves. Like, you looked so good, even in a loss.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt you, for sure. But yeah, a lot of comments about Gisele and Jordynne. She's pretty much the best there is right now. So
yeah, great.
Kudos to her. So obviously Jordynne with the big win there. We'll see what happens. Now it was a surprise. I wasn't expecting this before the main event. Jake something cutting a promo.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere. Where did this come from?
Out of nowhere.
I know they've been teasing him in the X Division pretty often, but when he pops on the screen pre-main event, there's definitely a push. Big push for Jake.
Well deserved.
Which is, I know, remember, this is the same guy, Jake something, where if you go back to the TNI show years ago, we were talking about Jake. Before he left and came back, and how like the deconstruction of Jake, and they were building him back up from that tag team, and like kind of look where he is, because like he may not come out victorious, but after we talk about the main event, that's a hell of a program to be in right now in this company, in the X Division, because the X Division, based on what we saw tonight, is going to be hot going forward.
Agreed.
So that takes us to the. Oh, go ahead. Alisha.
I was going to say all divisions are going to be hot going forward. If the next couple of tapings are as high energy as tonight, wow.
Not wrong.
I was really impressed.
That is something, because obviously I'm sure there was a lot of emotion in the locker room for this show tonight.
Yes, you're bringing up what I wanted to talk about.
So that is something where, like, I kind of had a feeling we were going to see this, but can you keep it up? Because that is something you might be able to dial in for a night, a weekend, but can you do that for months? That's going to be a test.
Yep.
So we'll see. But there are obviously some fresh faces in here that could help with that. And that gets us to our main event, which they sprung
second
on us
match of the night.
Yes. Chris Sabin versus Mustafa Ali.
Yep.
Challenger for the X Division title. And this was one where I had a feeling about the crowd on this, but I was even surprised at how over
lit
Ali was. Like way over.
They were chanting for him.
Chris Sabin wasn't really getting the heel at first reaction. Like, he was getting cheers and like, okay, very nice, Chris Sabin. But then the crowd started, like, even during the introductions, you could tell they were already like, oh, no, we're cheering for Ali. Boo this guy. And that started happening. But hell of a match here. Both guys looking great. If so many near falls that could have went either way. Well, just coming out, the Ali presentation with his security detail.
A bit corny.
But I know that's the whole production.
I expected him to come out dressed like the president. I don't know. I was misled. But
he hadn't won the title yet.
Stefan said he reminded him of the Fire Nation from The Last Airbender.
Oh, okay.
I said M. Bison from Street Fighter.
And Bison?
It was the maroon. I'm just saying.
All right. I like it. I know that video game reference. Usually when you mention video games, I have no clue what you're talking about. But that one I know. It's old enough.
Baldur's Gate is really fun.
Yeah, like that. But after you said it, I started hearing about it everywhere. I haven't played it, but maybe one day. We'll see.
I'm on my second run through. Anyway.
Nice meeting you as well, Anderson. Good to see people there. The NOLA crew. But what's your thoughts on this match? Because I know you were a little apprehensive about Ali coming in, but I'll tell you, it's hard to disagree with the results. Crowd,
I mean,
super over, most over individual of the night by far.
I think I can put it simply in saying is that I was not mad that he won the belt. Shocked, stunned, because I didn't anticipate it. But once you got to that end and they were just kind of pinning and tap, like it was crazy. It was wild, and
I think on the edge of their seat.
I think it was well deserved.
I can't disagree with it because I'm with you, and I'm a huge fan of Chris Sabin, 10-time X Division champion.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to root against him, and I wasn't. I was rooting for Chris Sabin during the match because Ali, even though he wants my vote, he didn't want my cheers. At least initially he did it. But I think even Chris Sabin, because I think they knew, like at the end, obviously you're going to have the new champion, victorious in the ring. You don't want the crowd turning on him. I don't think that's what they were, and it wasn't going to happen regardless. But about 3/4 away into the match, Sabin started healing it up a little bit.
Which him and Alex tend to do sometimes.
Yeah, and like Shelley does that a lot in matches, but usually Sabin keeps it pretty clean. He's good guy. Good cop, bad cop. He's the good cop. Shelley's usually the bad cop. But he was teetering. And then based on what we saw earlier from Shelley, do you see a Motor City Machine Guns maybe being healed?
God, I fucking hope so. Excuse my language, but I hope so because
they're back.
I think Kushida, and that might be. I mean, we got to look at it how it went. Alex lost, Sabin lost, right? Alex lost because Kushida threw in that didn't diamond hand it and threw that towel in. It's like Alex said strictly, hey, if I'm getting mauled by a grizzly bear, you don't throw that towel in. You just let whatever happen. And Kushida didn't let that happen. And I think there's a little dissension there in the time splitters. I think they're going to be split in time, if you know what I'm saying.
Whoa.
And like you're saying, Sabin lost as well, and I did a little heel tactics, and I think it's about time that we got a bit of a heel. I mean, they've been faces since they came back in, you know what I mean?
100%.
And Sabin was facing it all throughout Alex's absence when he was gone for a little bit. So I think it's time, and I think now you have the perfect rivalry of the Motor City Machine Guns versus what is their team? It's not the Time Splitters. Oh God, I'm drawing brain farting.
It's not the Time Splitters. I don't know if they actually have a. Somebody could probably say.
Well, Back to the Future. In the meantime,
pretty much
Back to the Future.
That's heavy. My guess is Daniel Spencer must be in awe when he's doing their matches because he's such a Back to the Future fan. But I
always pop when I see Daniel, even though he refs the majority of the matches. I'm always like, it's Daniel. Look at Daniel.
Yeah, since we're after a live pay-per-view, obviously some of the normal people at the company that jump in the chat probably can't catch it live, but if they're catching it later on a rerun, definitely thanks again because obviously you guys knocked it out of the park. Kudos to everyone. Great job with a turbulent last few weeks. Always a great time. The people here in the chat that were there live, I think all enjoyed it. I know Alisha, who watched the show, many of you here, this was a TNA Plus special, not to be missed. So if you didn't see it, sorry we spoiled it all for you. But
well, what are you doing here? It's a review show.
Yeah, why are you watching the review?
Why are you watching a review?
We appreciate it. But before you leave, definitely hit the like button, ring that bell for notifications, follow, join our membership. We appreciate all the support. Thanks again for those that tipped. That's very generous. Thank you very much. Alisha, thanks for staying up late on the East Coast. Obviously, I never change my time patterns when traveling, so I'm still operating on the same East Coast time as well.
1:23.
But tomorrow will obviously be the Fallout tapings that we'll see on Thursday, and then the following week as we then proceed to Sacrifice. So definitely stay tuned. We'll get definitely messages on the socials about the interview and the footage release with David Penzer from Final Resolution on that. Probably on Tuesday, same normal time that we normally go, around 10:30 Eastern. Plan on that. Unless it changes, we'll let you know. And then obviously Thursday for the review. I'll try to maybe hop on the phone briefly, but I will be at MLW up in New York that night. So, but until then, thanks one and all for joining us for this review of No Surrender and TNA. Appreciate everyone. Take care. Have a now good morning to those on the East Coast. So take care, everyone. See you soon.